The XFL is back, and by now, ESPN has reminded you of that. But this is not Vince McMahon's XFL, and times have certainly changed. Because quite a few spring football leagues have popped up over the past decade, and none of them have seemed to work. But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson might be onto something with this new version of the XFL, which has absolutely no real connection to the old one. I can't blame you for being skeptical. After all, we've literally seen this before, twice. But if the XFL version 3.0 is actually going to make it beyond a 1 to 2 year experiment, we're going to need to be honest about what the league actually is, and more importantly, what it is not. As of now, the XFL is an 8-team football league that plays a 10-game regular season to determine a champion. They play a 4-team playoff, reminiscent of what college football has been doing. And 3 of their teams are in Texas, while 4 of them overlap with NFL markets. On top of all that, they get national television coverage through the ESPN family of networks, and a movie channel called FX. So this XFL is a professional football league with everything that you would need to sell it as such. And they actually have some pretty good football players. And we know this because some of their players have the NFL stamp of approval. 2 current XFL quarterbacks have started NFL games. That's AJ McCarron and Ben DiNucci. But there are 2 former first-round picks from the NFL in the XFL. Vic Beasley and Matt Elam. And some players, like Julian Davenport, have started as many as 32 NFL games. These are not backyard football players. The XFL is filled with high-level D1 talent that stood out while they were in college and was really close to making it in the NFL. But this league is not where college football players dreamed about playing. Think of it like a AAA minor league, or maybe the G League of the NFL. Unofficially, it is a proving ground for players who haven't yet made it in the NFL, one way or another. But what can likely break the XFL is if fans don't understand what it is not. And it is not a competitor to the NFL. I'm pretty sure Dwayne Johnson knew that when he bought it, because he bought it for $15 million. Not one team, the whole league, for $15 million. Even the cheapest NFL team, the Cincinnati Bengals, is still worth almost $3 billion. There should be no delusion that they are competing directly with the NFL. It's better to consider them an unofficial business partner with aligned interests, because Americans like football, and now we get more of it from players who we might recognize. That is a victory in my book. But in the past, the old USFL and even Vince McMahon's XFL 1.0 tried to convince us they could compete with the NFL. But that is still stuck in the minds of fans. But we've got to let that go. XFL players average about $60,000 to $80,000 a year in salary. To put that in perspective, practice squad players in the NFL can make more than that. But thanks to their television coverage, this is clearly a AAA product, because there's been quite a few indoor football leagues that we don't give an afterthought to. And that's mostly because we don't see them on cable. Now, for any player who becomes a star in the XFL, they have a chance to at least become a player in the NFL. But that's about as far as the overlap will go. And if you're on an XFL roster, you already know this. For some college football players, the XFL is the perfect place for them to live out their dreams of playing professionally, especially if you didn't play in the FBS. But for most, it is a proving ground, and that makes the games worth watching. Abram Smith set the single-season record for rushing yards for Baylor in 2021, and that is a program where that record actually matters. And now, he is a star in the XFL. That is the type of talent where if you live near an XFL team and you actually like football, it is worth going to a game. With the rebooted USFL starting up as well, the real question is whether there's even room enough in the spring for one of those leagues, much less both of them. In-person attendance will fluctuate, probably averaging about 20,000 fans. But that's fine, because success for any football league always runs through the television screen. And right now, the XFL is here with a legitimate product that serves a function for its players. It is a quality proving ground between college football and the NFL. And hopefully football fans agree enough to turn on their televisions and actually watch. And if they don't, Dwayne Johnson's XFL 3.0 will likely be the last XFL that we ever get to see.